WWE Unreal is out this week, or has been out this week, and lots of people have been watching it, and very nicely people say, Simon, what did you think about that? Well, we're going to review it, I suppose, today. Now, of course, the big question is, should WWE be doing this? Is it ruining kayfabe, etc., etc.? I just don't look at it that way. Maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm a fool, but Vince McMahon broke kayfabe, what was it, back in the mid-80s, maybe even earlier than that, when he went in front of, like a sports board, or an athletic commission, and he said, please don't tax us for running shows in your state. We're sports entertainment, we're not real sports, so that's what we would like, a discount, and they got it. And they got it because he basically explained to them the finishes are works, and it's all storyline, it's all predetermined. And I can't believe that in 2025, people don't know what's going on. Even in 1985, most people knew what was going on. You can find newspaper clippings and you can find some sort of political fallouts when people took advantage of this. But I don't want to get into that today. You can just ignore this, is what my point is. You do not have to watch WWE Unreal, and even if you don't want to see it on social media, because especially on sort of, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday period, it was there a lot. You can go into your tools, you can mute these words. There is every way for you to just ignore it and pretend that it's not real. So I don't think it's this earth-shattering, oh my gosh, we have ruined pro wrestling moment. Although, yes, as the title suggested here, I wouldn't even call it a hot take because so many people sent me that message saying that's what they feel like. I'm not on that same plane. I guess maybe it's because I do this, maybe because I'm blessed to do all the reviews. When I watch wrestling, nothing else matters, as Metallica once said. I'm dialed into what I'm watching, and that's why sometimes you can kind of get exactly the same angle on different shows, or sometimes on the same show, and it will work at 1 hour 12, but it won't work at 2 hours 42, because I'm just accepting it in the context that is presented to me, and I suspend my disbelief, to use that catchphrase, and I go on from there. And actually, a lot of my fandom that keeps me locked into the product in general is learning about what happens backstage and what happens behind the scenes and who likes who and who said who to what. Now, of course, that usually comes from the dirt sheets, to continue to use the term. It's a horrible term, all things considered. And with that, you almost get your own modern version of kayfabe, because if you don't like this guy, you can pretend what he says isn't real, or if you don't like this girl, you can do the same, and then we kind of chat about that too. But I don't think that's what WWE Unreal is either. If I were going to hazard a guess, and I don't know this for sure, I think a good chunk of it, maybe 80 to 85%, is thought out beforehand. They know what they want to show you, what they don't want to show you. I mean, the WrestleMania 41 original card really got people talking. They could have easily sat down there and said, we're going to put these names on the board, and it's all going to change, because it's a story they wrote for reality TV. And I don't want to ruin your day, but reality TV, even outside the world of wrestling, isn't real. They produce a lot of that stuff. I won't name who, but I know two different people, actually, that have been on two very big reality shows. It's pretty obvious anyway. They have told me, no, they give you things to say and they tell you what's going to happen, but that's fine. It's entertainment television. You shouldn't take anything as read, be that on social media or on television. You should sit with it and research it and let it run through your body and run through your brain. But that does not mean it's not a fun show to watch. I think it's terrific. I love watching WWE Unreal, maybe because I approached it in this way, and it's that extra 20%, 15%, whatever percentage you want to throw in there, where you do kind of get a proper peek behind the curtain, where it's tremendous. Rhea Ripley is at the top of this list. When she is talking about the anxiety or apprehension or nervousness she goes to before a match, and we have these clips I'm sure people were shooting when she wasn't realizing, and you can see it etched onto her face. My gosh, there's one point where I should have written this stuff down, but she wants to try out some new gear or some new wrestling attire that she's bought for a special occasion. But because it was right after Christmas, she doesn't want to do it because she kind of, I don't like the term slack, but she kind of dialed back on her diet a little bit. That is the most empowering thing I've ever heard in my life. Rhea Ripley, one of the biggest stars in WWE. I'm convinced one day will be the biggest star in WWE. She will sit on top of the tree saying, I don't really want to wear this wrestling gear today because I don't feel confident in myself. Do you know how many times I've been backstage at a wrestling show? So I have all kinds of gear. I have singlets, I have biker trunks. That's pretty much it, but I have variation of each. Do you know how many times I put my singlet on because I look at myself and just go, no, I cannot do this today? It's a lot, and I know body dysmorphia is totally cool. We've talked about it in other videos. I don't get upset about this. It's just something that I deal with, so I deal with it, like we all do in our lives. But when Rhea Ripley says it, it just makes you feel a little bit better about it. And dare I say it, one day, maybe I will put my biker shorts on, because I'll be like, listen, if she can do it, I can do it. Maybe nobody cares. And actually, well, we are here. Shout out to John Klinger, who very sadly passed away. I think it was last year. He was a mentor of mine when it came to wrestling. And he sat me down and said that once, Sam, you don't need to look like a bodybuilder. You just need to look like you kick somebody's ass. I tell you, tears in my eyes, and all the best to his friends and family, of course. But it was moments like that. And I just think, because I'm sure lots of us look up to Rhea Ripley because she is such a presence on screen, to know that she goes through these emotions, that gets to you, man. It was the same with Bianca Belair when she was talking about where she came from and the way she approaches wrestling and the way that she deals with kids, which sounds weird, but you know what I mean, about giving back to the next generation, ensuring kids enjoy wrestling. It is so, so good. And then the flip side to that is Triple H having conversations with Jey Uso, where he's like, man, I'm going to tie a rocket to you, kid. I don't necessarily think that was completely authentic, but I love to see it because as far as we're concerned, it's happening in real time and you can put these pieces together. I think Triple H is very good in it as well. Some people are like, I can't believe he put himself front and center of it. It kind of felt to me like it was a Triple H venture, for lack of a better term. And if you are going to have something like this, you need the centerpiece and it has to be Triple H. Who else is it going to be? Can't be Nick Khan because people don't associate him with the creative side. So, well, there's not even point to run down lists. It has to be Triple H. So I like that as well. I mean, there was a time where, I guess, sort of the late 90s, you probably wouldn't have got this. Actually, no, you would have got this because him and Shawn Michaels didn't give a damn, and neither Kevin Nash or Scott Hall, so I shouldn't say that. But I enjoyed seeing sort of maybe kind of a version of how he runs events. Like, you see the Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair divorce line, and while he's at his chair doing the producing, I suppose, he's like, oh man, someone needs to go tell Tiffany off. I mean, use that for what you will, right? I think it was probably left in there for a very specific purpose. But what I think is worth the price of admission is when you see agents and timekeepers. So Billy Kidman is a timekeeper and, well, I can't remember his name, Abyss. I can't remember the real name of Abyss. I'm sorry, Abyss, if you ever see this. That's terrible of me. Joseph Parks or Chris Parks, something Parks. Man, I'm a bad person. I should know that. I'll know it as soon as I turn off the record. But you see him timing out the CM Punk Seth Rollins match from the Monday Night Raw debut on Netflix. Now that one is probably real. This poor man is having a meltdown because Punk and Rollins have gone over. He's talking to Bruce Pritchard. He talks to William Regal. That actually interests me more than, oh, let's find out who hates who and who actually has bad blood and all that kind of stuff. Seeing the processes and actually explaining who sits where in Gorilla, that's what really got me because I love professional wrestling. Of course, I do my independent wrestling, so I've seen this on a lesser scale at certain promotions, but seeing it on a big scale, that's what gets me really excited. I think that was the fun stuff, and you can kind of imagine how a show would run, and you can kind of put yourself there in your mind's eye. So I thought that was awesome. And you also do get, I mean, the one I think most people are talking about is CM Punk coming up with the finish for the Elimination Chamber match, and Seth, you're going to do this to me, and then you're going to do that to me as well. They have shot it in a way where it looks like they don't know anyone is recording them. I don't know, is all I'm going to say. But I did love seeing it because, of course, even if they'd had one conversation, then they were asked, oh, can you just recreate that for Unreal? This is the way that wrestlers talk. So again, I have come up with wrestling matches, just to say it again because people go crazy, on a much smaller scale. So to see it on the biggest scale possible, and it's all kind of the same stuff. Like, it's the same people sat down there, and John Cena reacting, and Michael Hayes is there reacting, and Drew, and Seth Rollins, I think, is there too. I just love it. And that's the thing that I was like, I could watch this till the cows come home. There's only 5 episodes. They're about 1 hour each. You can do another one as far as I'm concerned. And when I look at it that way, I'm glad that they worked it in the way that they did. I don't feel like it's ruined real wrestling, for lack of a better term, when I'm watching Raw or SmackDown. I don't feel like I know too much. If anything, there are things that I already knew, and this just confirmed it. And a lot of it, I believe, to be storyline based anyway. They'll probably use some of it on television, because, of course, when they did the advert for it, it was the iShow Speed stuff, which was most obviously a work. I presume they put iShow Speed in there because he's, you know, that demographic is going to love to know that he's in the show, even though he just did the Royal Rumble, and they probably already know that. But it's probably a way for him to advertise it as well. That's just smart. It's marketing. It happens all the time. But ultimately, I review it and I judge it as an entertainment product. It gets a couple of thumbs up from me. Like, I really enjoyed it. I found it hard to turn off. If you're going on a plane journey anytime soon, I would save it for the plane journey. It would be top tier plane journey stuff. And you can laugh at the way that everybody introduces themselves. I like this. I thought it was a good... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't bit. That's not what I'm thinking right now. But CM Punk says, you know, my wrestling name is CM Punk, and then my real name is Phil Brooks, and some people call me Punker or Pepsi Phil, which Dan Houser responded to. That made me chuckle. Then John Cena pops up and says, my wrestling name is John Cena. My government name is John Cena. I am John Cena. I don't know why it's so funny. It just is. So I would imagine they're doing that because they're hoping to appeal to a bigger crowd, given that it is on Netflix and it's a Netflix documentary. I think it's the NFL team that were doing it. And that's why I kind of get it too. It's your Drive to Survive, whatever the F1 is called. There's a golf one. Amazon do it a lot with Premier League teams. And even when I watched the Arsenal one of those, I think a lot of that too was a bit like, well, we'll show you this with Arteta going nuts in the dressing room and doing his weird, crazy coaching. But the rest of it we'll think out and we'll try and put a certain message out there. But it was still good to watch, and I would definitely recommend it. As long as you go, if you don't go in there too cynical, going, oh, it's all going to be fake, and you go, it's wrestling. And you should always question everything in wrestling, especially the WrestleMania 41 plan board or whatever the flub. I really do think you'll have a good time with it. And when you do kind of get the wrestlers in one-on-one situations or just having conversations with people, like I'm sure you've seen the clip of CM Punk asking everyone, have you ever soiled yourself in the ring? I'm 99% sure that happened. I'm sure they knew the cameras were there, so they thought they'd play up to them. But it's very much a real conversation between people, and Charlotte Flair thinks it's absolutely hilarious. They are the moments that will really get you. And it is nice seeing Triple H interact with people and say, I want to do this with you, I want to do that with you. Telling Rhea Ripley she's going to be the biggest star in the business, talking about what he thinks about the NXT recruits. It's fun. It's good. It's definitely worth your time. I don't think you're going to regret watching it by any stretch of the imagination. And if you do care, no, I've never actually soiled myself in a wrestling ring. And I've had quite a lot of matches now. It's definitely over a few hundred, to say they're probably way more than that. Nothing's ever even squeezed out, as opposed to, I can't remember, there's either Eric or Ivar, who apparently has incredible bladder and sphincter control. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but maybe it is. But I can understand why somebody wouldn't want to watch this if you really want to keep the purity of wrestling alive, but I think the purity of wrestling has never actually been there anyway, and it's more fun that it's not. Like, a weird example I would tie it is off AEW the other day, when the Young Bucks came to the ring and it came up with talent named social media, which was probably a knock on WWE when they made that mistake. Also tied into their current story, the idea is they're no longer EVP, so they can't even get name tags. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It is 2 + 2 = potato, but it's there to make you smile, and it's there to entertain you, and that's what I think this program does as well. I would make another series. I would just completely ignore it. Like I say, you do not have to watch this. It's not being overly thrown into your face. No idea how it's done on Netflix. I saw someone say, oh, the numbers aren't very good. Why do you care? Unless you're Mr. Netflix and you have a financial investment in this, I think you can move on. But, I mean, if I was going to give it an arbitrary score, 7.5 out of 10. But what does that even mean? Because I never use an out of 10 scoreboard, so you don't even know if that's good or not compared to me. I would absolutely watch the second season. And if a friend came round and they wanted to watch it, I'd probably watch it with them again to get their reaction. So it's very, very easy to watch, very, very stripped back. And even when they are being a bit over the top, I think you can laugh about it, especially if you are entrenched in the history of wrestling. So a massive thumbs up for me, or an up if you want to go to my What Culture series of reviews. That's what I would give it, right? Up, down, golden up. It gets a very, very strong, but nothing too crazy up. Just think it's nice that it's on Netflix. And I'm glad the fact this is happening. I mean, the idea anyway is to grow the WWE brand. Do I think random people will watch this? I very much doubt it. I think you'd start with Raw, but you never know. And I would take more of these kind of ideas, not like Swerved. Remember when we did the prank show and the network started? Not like that. Let's take ideas that exist in the sports world and just WWE them. That doesn't mean a prank show. Let's not do that again. I know you can have thoughts about this, so drop me a comment below. Like the video, share the video. Please do subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which will be me talking about more wrestling, because why the flub not? Otherwise, patreon.com/Simon316 to join my watch-alongs. Actually, we're about to review one of my matches. I'm recording this in advance, so it may already be up. Grillermine.com/Simon, because Simon get loads of % off, and it ships worldwide. Often you can get free shipping if you spend enough. Simon316 on all social media. Simon J. Miller on TikTok for dumb wrestling songs, which I'm a little bit embarrassed about because I like them so much. Simon Miller on Cameo for personalized video messages. Big Cartel and Pro Wrestling tees to get your merchandise. Otherwise, appreciate you, my friends. Have a great SummerSlam weekend, because this will go up on Friday. This bald a-hole will see you soon.